She was at St. Joseph's Hospital in the city, yeah. But now at least she's part of Northwestern Faculty Foundation, so it's like hours wise, everything else wise, it's been good. Commute wise, yeah,
Much better.
much better.
St. Joseph's near North, right?
Yeah, it's diversity in the lake.
I've been playing a lot of golf with a retired anesthesiologist in my neighborhood.
Oh yeah,
He used to work at the children's blurry.
yeah.
Like to call to order the meeting of the Village of Riverwoods. Stand with me and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation. Thank you. Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Sure. Mayor Ford,
Present.
trustee Clayton.
Here.
Trustee Eastman.
Here.
Trustee Jamerson.
Here.
Trustee Rath.
Here.
Trustee Smith
Here.
and trustee Trevino.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Our first item of business and most important is the swearing in of our new police officer. So Chief, if you could help us and lead us on through this.
I'm pleased to welcome Dennis Sears, who as a full-time Riverwoods police officer. Dennis has been a police officer for 19 years, serving part-time in Riverwoods for the past 2 years, in addition to his full-time role that he had in Bannockburn. Tonight, he's transitioning to a full-time role in Riverwoods. He brings a wealth of knowledge and experience. He is a master firearms instructor. He's an Illinois master threat instructor. He's a TASER instructor. He's achieved Master Tactical Patrol Officer certification through the Illinois Tactical Officers Association, which I don't believe too many people have achieved. And he's been a member of the Lake County Incident Management Assistance Team. So Dennis, why don't you come on up here and we'll swear you in.
Please raise your right hands. I, Dennis Sears,
I, Dennis Sears,
have been appointed to the office of police officer
have been appointed to the office of police officer
for the Village of Riverwoods
for the Village of Riverwoods
in the County of Lake.
in the County of Lake.
Do solemnly swear that I'll uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
Do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
State of Illinois,
the State of Illinois,
the ordinances of the Village of Riverwoods,
the ordinances of the Village of Riverwoods,
and the rules and regulations of the police department,
and the rules and the regulations of the police department.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of an officer of the police department to the best of my ability.
And I will faithfully discharge the duties of an officer of the police department to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Dennis, is there some people here you'd like to recognize?
Yes. Sure. Brought my wife Gina, my youngest son Aiden, my middle son Emmett, my oldest son Ryan, and my daughter Colleen. And then Officer Bob Ogden, worked with many years in Bannockburn, and he's retired from Deerfield and currently working for Zion. So I appreciate them being here.
Why don't you all come up and we'll take a couple pictures. Squeeze in here. No, I'm sorry. Okay, and then can we get one more picture with our officers who are here today? Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
It's truly an honor, and we're glad to have your family with us too, because it is important to our village. Next item of business is approval of the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting for August 5th. Do I have a motion for approval, please?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Are there any questions, comments, additions, deletions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. The motion passes. Finance Director's report. We start with the approval of the bills, please. May I have a motion for the approval of the bills?
So move.
Is there a second, please?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Clayton.
Aye.
Trustee Eastmond.
Aye.
Trustee Jamerson.
Aye.
Trustee Rath.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
And Trustee Trevino.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Is before, Finance Director, Director Vasquez, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I have just a few items for my report tonight. I recently attended town hall style meetings hosted by U.S. Congressman Brad Schneider and State Senator Julie Morrison. Each of these separate events was intended for local government leaders to discuss issues and hear out upcoming agenda items that they're in discussion. It's helpful for us to participate in these events and hear what challenges some of our surrounding villages are going through as well. For Riverwoods, I spoke about the future infrastructure needs we will have, and that I do have some concerns if there will be federal money available for grant opportunities in the future. I'm currently working on the 2026 budget in preparation for the finance workshop, which will be later this fall. And I'm still working with the village attorney to prepare for the annual TIF Joint Review Board meeting. And that's all I have tonight.
Are there any questions for our Finance Director? Seeing none, I will move on. Treasurer's report, not present. Director of Community Services report, please. Director Wood.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. So just a few things. Saunders Road, STP, this project just doesn't seem to want to move. We are waiting on IDOT to actually award the contract to Builders Paving. The letting was almost 2 months ago, but the paperwork's held up in their central office, waiting for approval. In some ways, the delay is a good thing because if you remember, we're up against Lake County and their desire to move the lift station on Saunders near Duffy Road further north. I believe that they are out to bids with that project now. They're not looking to be breaking ground probably till late November. So in letting them get moving forward fast, sooner than us, finishing the road is a good thing. That way their contractors are not disturbing the final surface on the road. And once we get final surface course down, beginning of next year, the road will look nice and won't be disturbed by heavy equipment that'll be needed in order to move the lift station. With regard to the water main break at Saunders Road in Brayburn, the construction of that's likely to start the week of or the week after August 25th. In order to expedite the overall project from about a 2-week time period to a 2-day time period for the cutting of the roadway and the placement of the new water main across the street. The engineers feel that by shutting down Saunders Road to through traffic for a period of likely 2 days, we can reduce that time frame of disruption on Saunders Road from 2 weeks down to 2 days. Certainly, we will be notifying local residents and businesses, as well as the school district and others that are of need, including the fire district, police department, et cetera, well in advance so that they're well aware. Local traffic would not be disrupted. Some people may have to go north or south different than what they normally do, but nonetheless, it will not affect local residents or businesses from their day-to-day activities. The Federal Life Site demolition project is fully complete. The laying of the seed mats, which was the last thing that needed to be done, is complete. We're looking at one more pay request forthcoming in the next couple of weeks, after which we can fully close out that portion of the project and get a full accounting of costs thereof. Other RFPs within the next week, we should have an RFP on the streets for snow removal for the 25-26 season. If you remember, it was a little helter-skelter over the last 2 years, but we're trying to formalize an RFP, which will make that whole process a little bit better. We've already had interest in doing services for us with 3 different companies. So we're trying to push this thing to get out so we can finalize those bids. And last on the list, the adjudication hearing was held today. There were 3 cases related to building department enforcement activities that were up for hearing. 2 of the cases have been continued. And the third party was a no-show. They were fined liable for just under $5,000 for work at a local construction site. Due to a scheduling conflict, there will be no hearing in September. The next hearing date will be October 21st. Open for any questions.
Trustee Jamerson, please.
Oh, thank you. Real quick on the Federal Life Site, then is the construction fence coming down or is that staying up for an extended period of time?
Extended period of time. The fence is intended to stay up. It likely won't change. It will, if anything, it will get expanded to incorporate the existing detention area in the southwest corner. The intent was that the village we had a choice between buying a fence or renting a fence. It ends up being cheaper in the long run to actually own the fence, which we do. That will stay up until whenever, at some point in time, the fire district will actually take that over. Maybe the fencing will come in and shrink a little bit, but ultimately it'll be the fire district's purview over the fence. We want to keep it up as long as we're doing work on the new detention basin.
Okay, thank you. You answered my question because I was concerned about rental of that fence for an extended period of time, but since we own it, that's great. I guess, till we have to get rid of it.
Trustee Rath, please.
Yes, just some clarification on Saunders Road. It will be closed for 2 days, or I'm not clear on that.
We are planning to close it for through traffic only, meaning people that are non-residents going all the way from Riverwoods all the way up to Duffy. You will be able to get everywhere you need to go. The residents on Brayburn will not be blocked. They won't have to ditch the construction area because construction will be occurring just north of the intersection. So they'll be able to get in and out, but they would have to come in off of Riverwoods Road. So the 2 points of detour would either be follow Riverwoods Road up to Duffy or down to Saunders, or head a little bit eastward and take Wilmot in the same direction.
Thank you.
But we will be posting signs and we'll be going through all of that and we'll issue flyers and et cetera, just to let people know. It's either that or we go through 2 weeks of traffic, stop, start, flaggers, that whole mess. And it's probably easier to not have to do that, particularly during the school season.
Are there any other questions for our director? Okay, seeing none, village attorney's report, please.
We had a meeting with Lake County Public Works officials last week to discuss probably an intergovernmental agreement, which would potentially allow the village to connect to water with Lake County over on Milwaukee Avenue. We're going to put together a proposal, a request, then they'll evaluate it. And if they are supportive of it, then they will help support it with our case to Buffalo Grove, because Buffalo Grove then has to get probably approval from someone else. This is really to serve just a couple of properties. Hope I'm close. Can you hear me out there? Okay. This is just to serve a couple of properties, but it's just far cheaper to go underneath Milwaukee to serve these two properties than it would be to get water to them from any other source. So I've advised the attorney and people for Quick Trip that we're trying to figure out how we get water to them so that we can put that in the annexation agreement. We haven't really finished a draft of that because we're trying to see how we would get water to them. We had a meeting about the ETSB chief. Are you going to talk about that in your report? Okay, then I won't. That's all I have.
What? Somebody have a question? No, okay. Are there any questions for our village attorney? Trustee Clayton, please.
At one point, you had said that the developers at Walters Kluwer were going to come in and beg for relief from affordable housing. Where does that stand?
The September 2nd Committee of the Whole, we wanted to do it at the Committee of the Whole meeting so that you could really dig in and ask questions.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, moving forward. Police report, please.
Yes, I have a few things. The police activity since the beginning of the year and last year's activity over the same time period is in your board packets. I did have a meeting on our status with the Deerfield, Bannockburn, Lincolnshire Emergency Telephone Systems Board, ETSB. As many of you may remember from previous reports, we've been grandfathered into the Lake County ETSB because we were originally patrolled by the Lake County Sheriff's Department. And when we started our own police department in 2001, there wasn't any avenue for us to join another ETSB. It was a lot of legal complication that Bruce, I'm sure, could answer any questions if you have on that. But we've been in Lake County ever since, and that's where our 911 surcharge money has been going that you see on your telephone bills. The Lake County ETSB is disbanding, and there's a new ETSB that's going to, a joint ETSB or JETSB, that's going to be starting with several Lake County fire and police departments soon for the new communication center that they built that is near opening. And in speaking with their board members and their director, we shouldn't have any problems. We're just, when it disbands, we're not going to join the new JETSB. We're going to join the Deerfield, Lincolnshire, Bannockburn ETSB. And we had a meeting with somebody from the state police who oversees all that, and they told us what we needed to do, and Bruce knows what he needs to do as far as a I don't remember if it's an ordinance or I don't know if he's decided yet, but Bruce will be bringing something to you probably in 2 weeks that would start the process for us to get into Deerfield, and our money will be going where it should be going. We met with the union yesterday, and we have another meeting with them next week. So negotiations are ongoing. As far as admin court today, the police did have a case up, and that was the owner of the 2 dogs that had killed those chickens recently, and before that, they killed another dog. He pled liable today. And there was an agreement. He signed the agreement. He paid fines. He made restitution. He did all that today to the owner. And he signed an agreement giving him 30 days to remove the dogs from town. And it's my understanding that by next week they should be moved from town and gone to a private kennel. And that's all I have.
Are there any questions for our chief? Okay, moving forward, Plan Commission, please. Chair Brightcoff, thank you.
Good evening. The Plan Commission met on August the 7th. We reopened the public hearing to consider Orphan's application for a text amendment and special use. The commissioners heard new and updated information and discussed our recommendation to the board. The Plan Commission voted 7-0 to recommend approval of orphans application with several conditions, including compliance with all applicable village ordinances, the grant of an easement for a potential future water main and bike path, and a plan to address future noise complaints, among other things. The Plan Commission will send its recommendation to the board soon, and our next meeting is September the 4th. That's it.
Are there any questions for our chair? Thank you. Zoning Board of Appeals, Chair Greditor, please.
Good evening, and I actually have a report tonight. Is that scary or what? The ZBA met for the third time on the issue of signs and controls of signage on the 14th. And came up with a bunch of recommendations for alterations. The big issue is that there may or may not be other commercial buildings coming into the village. And there will certainly be new tenants coming into both shops and Colonial Courts. And there needs to be some combined and much more severe list of requirements. So we met, we discussed all of the requirements. Director Witt was wonderful, worked his body off, taking pictures, making charts, helping us figure out what we needed to do. And we did come to a quite extensive list of recommendations with regard to what a sign ordinance should be, and a bit of the concern about the fact that we would like it in place before another business comes into either of those centers, and have it complete enough that it can be enforced, which apparently has been one of the big difficulties because it's quite different in shops. And the 1-inch ordinance that Colonial Courts has with regard to signage really doesn't say a heck of a lot. We decided that existing large signs, that signs above the businesses, should not be questioned. Those that are there should be grandfathered. Many of them had hearings before they put them in. And those signs are costly. And what we would like is if a new business comes in, or if one of the existing businesses decides to make a new sign, very doubtful, that these ordinances or these requirements be in effect. But mostly we would like something that is enforceable, number one, covers a lot of things that aren't covered by anything that we've got right now, and makes it abundantly clear that the village will have power to enforce and regulate the signage going in.
So we'll expect something for the board to review and act upon.
We still haven't got all of the stuff in one place and ready to present, but
Okay.
Director Witt is going to help me with that one. But yes, we're hoping to have it together and soon.
Okay.
And I also want to say that Director Witt did yeoman's work helping us.
I'm sure of that.
Photographs and charts, and his incredible knowledge was very helpful to all of us. So does anyone have any questions?
Any questions?
I just have a comment.
Trustee Jamerson, please.
This has been a long time coming, and I really appreciate the ZBA and all the work that you guys have done, and Director Witt as well, to try and get the sign ordinance something that can be enforced, because it's been one of the things that have been bothering me for about 14 years.
And I
So-
know, I've heard for about 14 years.
Yeah.
But the issue is we may or may not have other commercial coming in as well.
And we want to get it done before we have to
Exactly.
grandfather
Before we deal
something
with it.
else in.
Mhm.
So thank you so much for your work.
Oh, you're
Appreciate it.
very welcome. And thanks to Director Witt, I got to tell you, he was wonderful. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
Thank you.
No?
Thank you for your work, Chair.
Oh, you're very welcome. It was challenging, but fun.
But fun. Oh,
Yes.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Thank you. Next is a report from from the fire district, not present this evening. So it's my turn. First, I'm going to start out with the South Lake Mosquito Abatement District, a little status report. I have gotten a message trying to organize, Trustee Eastman and I gotten a message trying to organize a discussion among the members of the South Lake Mosquito Abatement District, the mayors and the village managers. I questioned, the date is September 17th. And I questioned the timing of it because I know that the board has, the county board has gone further down the road with this. It went from the finance committee to the board, and the audit is the next step in this process. And the audit, according to a message I just got this afternoon, the audit will likely occur in September. So they will not get the audit until sometime in September, and I think that is when we need to be very mindful of what's going on. There is the backdoor referendum process and so forth. But what I become mostly concerned about is the fact that we have two very large communities that are members, and should it come to referendum, could Riverwoods carry the referendum? So it gets to be kind of a little game there. The other concern of mine is that, pushing this down the road a bit, we are going to be getting our budget together. And if there is not, if we're not being covered by the South Lake Mosquito Abatement District next year, we need to consider this in our budget. So I will tell you now that I have contacted the North Shore Mosquito Abatement District to begin conversations. To see what services they could offer us, how that would cost out, and how we would pay for that. We certainly want to maintain a high level of service because it is a vector disease issue, and I think that you've all seen the most recent report from the Lake County Health Department where West Nile virus is at an all-time high. So we will continue to be involved. Trustee Eastman and I were at the last South Lake County Abatement District Board meeting, which was really quite interesting, to say the least. And if you want to comment on that, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. I mean, nothing much more to add than that the new board is kind of grappling with their responsibilities, right? There was a previous board that had been appointed last year that then turned over. And I think this new board with a new president is sort of, there's one or two people that are holdovers, but they're kind of figuring out what does the board do, kind of what the pulse is of the president. And I think we've been able to add value, both the mayor and myself, and just kind of, constantly being there and explaining to them, the value for the smaller communities as well as Riverwoods. So I think it's been a good chance for, people that are in the county infrastructure to see how Riverwoods can shape the debate. And as the mayor alluded to, if we do decide to go the referendum route to try and stop it, it will be important to have partners such as Highland Park and some of the bigger communities that see the value in it, right? But I mean, I think what you saw today with the health department notice, right? It's interesting that the two arms of the county aren't exactly, singing from the same hymn book on that value. And I think we're starting to get a consensus of people who believe that the mosquito abatement districts are more efficient in delivering services than a municipality, or not in this case, but in Cook County, a county could be. So I think it's been interesting, challenging, but it's been a good way for us to kind of assert our interests within the Lake County infrastructure. And then we're also planning for, if this doesn't work, is there another infrastructure that we can tap into to be sure that, the press release today highlights the fact that the real function of the board is not necessarily nuisance mosquitoes, it's public health. And I think that's the other message that we've tried to really get through. And it's a process of resonating, but we're active in participating in it.
And I do need to mention, and I want to thank Trustee Raff and Trustee Trevino for accompanying me to the Finance Committee meetings and speaking out. Trustee Raff from the position of a physician involved in infectious disease work. Trustee Trevino from the point of view, she used the point of view of economies of scale and how these services are delivered. Also, members of the Riverwoods Preservation Council, Randy Merrill and Sarah Merritt, were with us, and they also spoke. So Riverwoods has been showing up. And quite honestly, we haven't seen any of the other members, other than Bannockburn at the very first meeting, but by virtue of reading a message on a video call. So it's hard for us to carry the water here, but we're going to do the best we can, and we're going to try to make sure that we're seeking out an alternative so we don't get left in the lurch or left unprepared. This is important work. Also important work was the visit from the Girl Scouts. On a brighter note, we had some Girl Scout troops in here, and they wanted to come in and talk about government. And Officer Marshmallow, as he introduces himself, did an outrageous job. He was just very engaging, answered the girls' questions. We asked them to, to vote on whether or not we should have chickens in Riverwoods. By the way, we can. And it was just entertaining. The questions they asked and so forth. And one of the last things that we asked him to do was to write a letter to the mayor. And some of these requests really had to do with our police department, because not only did Officer Marciello attend, but Officer Tonitis came in as well. So I want to give these to the mayor's chief so that he can read what a great job, Read it out, yeah. 9 yards.
Dear Mayor,
I'm making sure you're going to read it too.
Dear Mayor Ford, I have a lot of ideas for Riverwoods. Did you write this, Al?
The handwriting is just dead giveaway.
I have a lot of ideas for Riverwoods, and I wanted to share them with you. Do you have a community pool? I don't know if that's really a police matter, but feel free to take that up. I'll get there. Do you have let's see, if not, then you should get one. I think you should get a drop slide that has your favorite color on it. Thank you for having us today from Bree. Okay. Dear Mayor Ford, we need a police dog. Al Mascherello. This is Mary Margaret. Mary Margaret wrote that.
Keep reading.
There's more on,
No, there.
Dear Mayor Ford, please can the police wear shorts? I think I know who wrote all these, so including the pool.
He kindly put it that the mayor doesn't allow them to do any of these things. And I said, no. Anyway, it was really a great 1 hour. I think they were only with us an hour, but it was a good 1 hour. And I think it was very interesting as far as what the girls did and what they learned and so forth. So just wanted to share that with you, especially with the chief. So moving on.
Question?
Oh, yes, trustee
Sorry,
Clayton.
I'm sorry.
No, please.
In the interim, while all this is evolving with the mosquito abatement district, in the short run, is there anything the community should be doing to more protect itself given the rise of the West Nile virus and the incredible amount of nuisance mosquitoes? We used to spray sometimes.
They still do. They still do. It's really much later at night, and it's a very low volume thing.
Signs, right?
I'm sorry, say again?
There were signs that were put up for mosquito spraying and all that? Oh,
We used to put up signs.
okay.
There we go. We used to put up signs. That was probably when our building department didn't have a whole hell of a lot to do.
Yeah, we used to put up signs, and I think that you can still, well, at least as long as it exists, you can get on their list and they will email you when they are spraying. But somebody used to put them up. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was Rob or.
It had to have been, I don't know. It certainly wasn't the police department, I'm sure.
No, it
Anyway, I
wasn't the
kind of
police.
got us off on a tangent there. From a
that's
community health point of view, do you think there's anything we need to be doing in the short run?
Well, I got an email today from a resident of Thorngate. And I'm sorry, I can't remember his last name right now, Sheldon, because we went back and forth a number of times. And do you know who I'm talking about? It's a CP, yeah, CP. I copied y'all on it. He is very concerned as well, and is suggesting, you know, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And I don't know, I don't quite know the answer to that. We have been in very close contact with our representative on the Lake County Board, Ann Main. And so there are some things that Ann would see and some things that we would see, and we're making sure that we share them. For example, the video call with the mayors and so forth. There has not been a heck of a lot of activity. I don't quite know how to go about this other than to say it's very political and it is not quite logical. And it's difficult to it's difficult to get past. It's difficult to get past. Lake County, we are involved with Lake County in a number of ways. And so we want to be mindful of the full relationship that we have with Lake County, but we also do not want to be overlooked. So there's a fine line here, you know, in terms of action. And please, Trustee Trevino, Raff, and Eastman, if you all have other things to add to that, please let me know.
No, I was just going to say, Mayor, to Trustee Clayton's question, maybe just explain. So the recent spraying that's been done, to my understanding, has been done for West Nile, right? And explain the process of spray, you know, what the threshold is for the nuisance mosquitoes. I think you may have done this before, but I think that's important for people to know.
That we have traps. We now have 2 traps in Riverwoods, and there's a threshold for spraying. It has to be over 100 mosquitoes caught in one of these little traps. Now, I don't know who counts these things, but never, I know. Can you imagine? Intern. There is a threshold, and that threshold has been raised over the years. And again, they try not to spray. They concentrate a lot on larvicide on the front end as opposed to the back end. The nuisance mosquitoes have been a problem. We are not exactly the West Nile virus traps the traps that have had West Nile virus testing in them have really been in other areas, not Riverwoods. They've been mostly in Highland Park and those areas, some part of Deerfield, so on. But mosquitoes travel, so we should all be concerned. In the message from the Lake County Health Department, they offer suggestions about making sure you're covered when you go outside, you know, no standing water, all those kinds of things. From a personal experience, if you put a fan outside, they can't fly real well. So if you're outside and you have a fan going, you probably have gotten ahead of the game a little bit. But there's other than repellent and guarding against having them hatch in your yard, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. And they are mindful of what is being sprayed and the volume that's being sprayed, so that they're not just everything that flies dies. So just if that's helpful at all, it's West Nile is really interesting to the extent that during periods of drought, that's when it tends to show up more, because birds and animals that carry the West Nile virus will flock to the same water hole where the mosquitoes are breeding. So, and there's the spread. That's why it's called a vector-borne disease. So the other issue is not just West Nile. There are other diseases that are showing up, and we need to be mindful of that. So that's why this district provides a lot of surveillance, larvicide at the very front end, people on bicycles going around throwing stuff in storm drains, surveillance, helicopter surveillance is done. They can point out swimming pools that have been abandoned or have not been tended. They're looking for those things from time to time. So surveillance is very high. In communities where, this is what we found through research, and thank you, Sarah Merritt, is that, for example, Lincolnshire's last spend for a year was about $70,000. But the services that Lincolnshire pays for may not be as robust as the services we get from the South Lake Mosquito Abatement District. We get services based on science and need and the traps and climate and all those other rainfall, all those other things. Sometimes municipalities who do their own mosquito control, it's based on, okay, do a spray now because people are complaining. Or we don't have the budget to do more, so please do this. It becomes a financial decision rather than a health decision. So those are really important points that we seemingly have failed to point out. I think you all remember when they started appointing people to the board. We went to the county board and said, can we have a seat at the table? And we were denied. The current board is 4 members from Highland Park, 1 member from Deerfield. The two new members, one of whom was elected president by a 3-2 vote, wrote a letter before her second meeting to the county board supporting dissolution. So you can feel the politics very strong. Again, we live in a community. We'd like to think that the community and the region will all be mindful of this and we'll move forward. Or we won't move forward. We will maintain status quo, but we need to be mindful of our own residents too. And I've reminded the board of that in this room. And as I'm saying this room, I'm talking about at the county board level. In this room, they are all your residents too. That's the fiduciary responsibility of a board member. In this room, it's all Riverwoods residents, but when I represent someplace else, they've got to understand that they're representing the whole Lake County as well, what's good for Lake County. If we go it ourselves, that has to be a very strong and serious decision. I want to explore the services that North Shore Mosquito Abatement District will be supplying, and then we have to look at the cost. What does that mean? We certainly don't want to, and it will not appear on our tax bills any longer because it will be done through an intergovernmental agreement. So it will be on our budget, which is something that is of more immediate concern as we start to plan for next year. So there's the long and sad story. Did I hit? Trustee Raff, please.
Yes, I know we don't want to rile up our relations with Lake County, but when I've spoken to individual residents about the situation, I have let them know that their contacting Lake County might be useful, though this may be a done deal. And I've made them aware of the backdoor referendum, which it may be necessary to organize. And, you know, if Riverwoods goes strongly in favor of this and no one else pays any attention to it, we might have a chance with something like that. So I am, getting the word out a bit. And also in terms of budgeting, if we're not able to defeat this at all, we will be receiving funds from the dissolution of the Mosquito Abatement District. Is that correct?
That's correct. Our share might not cover a full year. It's again, that we do need to do a deep dive on that one. So it's frustrating, but we'll, Riverwoods first, and hopefully we can do something with our neighbors. And we've seen Thorngate show up before, so and at the last election, what was it? Lake County had 14% turnout. So low turnout countywide, low turnout district-wide, high turnout Riverwoods. It's possible. It's possible. But then do we trust Lake County for next year? Will this come up again? So there's the discussion. You've got all the points. Trustee Trevino, did you have anything to add, please?
I was just going to say that I think we had a lot of relevant points. I mean, you have public health official come in and share what's going on. And no matter, to me, listening to a few weeks of their arguments, they were ready for anything that we came up with to basically, I mean, it's difficult to hear that you don't achieve economies of scale when you pull your resources together. That's just not true. And you don't pay any more money later. So it's difficult to say that that these decisions are being made from a logical, scientific, or whatever, even economical point of view.
And on that bright note, do we have any visitors that are wishing to address the board? Randy, Russ, Catherine? Okay, thank you for coming. Okay, moving on. New business. First item, approval of an ordinance revising fee schedule for water rates and extra duty rates for police officers. Do I have a motion to waive first reading?
Sure. I'll make a motion to waive first reading.
Second.
Have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Do I have a motion for second reading and approval, please?
Yes. So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Please, perhaps we should,
Easy.
if Director Vasquez could lead us through the water rate and then hand it off to the chief for extra duty.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So as a follow-up to our discussion on water rates at the Committee of the Whole meeting earlier in the month, at the direction of the board, I have had the village attorney update the water rates by 5%. It would be at $10.37 per 1,000 gallons. And then is the minimum, was the minimum updated here too as well?
Yeah, to
And the minimum
$20.
was updated from $10 a month to $20 per month, following our discussion again at the Committee of the Whole meeting. And then Chief, if you wanted to discuss the update of your line item for the police, what's it called, extra duty rate?
Yeah. I didn't realize that was up tonight, so
Sorry.
I don't have the amount.
It's $107 an hour.
I'm sorry, what?
107 per hour.
Yeah, so basically, I raise that every year based on what our salary increases for the year. We haven't updated the fee schedule for a while. I believe in the ordinance, it allows me to raise it even though it's not in the fee schedule, which I've been doing. So we're just bringing the fee schedule up to date.
Are there any questions, Trustee Jamerson?
I just have a comment. There's a typo under section 2. It says Polse Services. POLCE.
Should be police.
Well, I'm guessing. Should say police.
Oh, Pulse Services, yeah. That's
It's
a tough-
Italian. It's Italian. Pulse.
No, that's not the word. Yeah.
That was my only comment or question.
With that correction. Are there any other comments or questions, discussion?
So,
Trustee Smith, please.
yes, so Chief, just to be clear, this is the rate that is paid to officers for overtime. Is that right? Or am I?
No, this is the rate when somebody needs to hire a police
Oh.
officer. They're doing it through the village. The officers can't work on their own. So that's what we're paid, and that basically covers our cost to pay the officer and other expenses.
Sure. Thank you. That makes more sense to me. Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Eastman. Trustee Jamerson. Trustee Rath.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Trevino. Trustee Clayton.
Aye.
Motion passes ordinance 25-08-10.
Okay, next item of new business, approval of a proposal from Forte to provide wireless microphones for the boardroom in an amount not to exceed $42,213. Director Vasquez.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is another follow-up item from our discussion at the Committee of the Whole meeting. As we discussed, the village boardroom currently uses wired microphones. My understanding is the original intention of the room was to be easy to break down and move furniture for other uses and groups. The wired microphones can make this difficult and be time consuming to break down and put back together. Because most of the tables have wired microphone equipment attached, we are either limited in what tables can be used for other meetings, or we have to find ways to minimize potential damage to our AV equipment. After some technical issues we've had this past year with the current system, Chief Dano and I sought out quotes last year from multiple vendors for a wireless solution for the microphones. We received quotes from Forte, formerly AVI, and Melco. These two vendors were selected because of their familiarity with our current setup, as well as capability to integrate with our Crestron system. Both Forte and Melco recommended a Shure wireless microphone system. Each quoted us for 16 wireless microphones, which would allow us to have individual microphones for the board, staff, consultants, and for multiple guest presenters. I had Forte provide an updated quote for a new 2025 model of the Shure wireless microphones that became available this year. We know the villages of Winnetka, Carroll Stream, and Warrenville currently use the prior generation of Shure wireless microphones for their meetings, and we spoke with representatives from those villages and got positive feedback on the system. Again, our quote is for the newer 2025 version of this system, though. The rechargeable batteries that will be part of the microphones, they can be replaced without replacing the entire base. And the gooseneck microphones have a battery life up to 30 hours. The Forte quote updated for the 2025 model is $42,213. The quote we received from Alco last year for the older model of Shure microphones was a little bit more at $48,910. Again, in recent months, we've seen the village use the boardroom for many purposes, such as the election, various committee meetings, HOA meetings, the RRA events, village's garage sale, the annual appreciation lunch, and others as well. We think by having a wireless microphone system in place, we can help ensure that the room is versatile for a variety of groups and residents, and at the same time replace the equipment that causes the microphone system on the far side of the room to fail at times. The capital funds budget does have capacity for this purchase in '25. So the recommendation would be for approval of the proposal from Forte for the purchase and installation of the wireless microphones in an amount not to exceed $42,213.
Is there a motion for approval, please?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I have a question.
I have a
Oh,
question as well.
Trustee Smith?
I was just wondering, what's the typical lifetime of these? I mean, is this kind of something you have to do every 5 years, 10 years? Is there any sense of that? I know you said this is the newest model, but I just didn't know, is there something like, something to get at the idea of almost like an amortization schedule?
I mean, the life cycle can vary. I know that these have the former model was updated. There was a 2007 model, and then after that it was updated in 2013, and then now this current 2025 model, I couldn't tell you exactly what the expected lifespan would be on these.
Yeah.
It would be over 5 years, but I think at that point, then like most equipment, you're at the risk of issues.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Jamerson?
So I just want to clarify, you got one bid from Forte and from nobody else currently, right? Just went to one place.
We only had Forte refresh their bid. We did not have Malco.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Jamerson,
Nay.
trustee Raff,
Aye.
trustee Smith,
Aye.
trustee Trevino,
Aye.
trustee Clayton,
Aye.
trustee Eastman.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next item of business is approval of a proposal from Stuckey Construction for repair and replacement of sidewalks at the police department in an amount not to exceed $6,520.
So you're.
Director Witt.
Certainly. Thank you, Mayor. So this is just another item of deferred maintenance at the police department building. This one and the following item, but we'll talk about the sidewalks first. We have two sections of the sidewalk that are severely cracked. They're crumbling. Cracks are probably due to poor compaction of the subgrade prior to the original pour. Some of the breakage on the concrete is attributed to that, and some of it is probably attributed to oversalting of the parking lot in previous years, which we're going to try to control better this year. Anyhow, Stuckey was able to give us a bid, the amount of $6,520 to do that work. We did not go out for additional bids when we did the roadway program several months ago. There were 7 contractors requested to bid. We only got 2, but both of those bids were, the 2 of those bids were 2 to 3 times the amount that we're looking at for Stuckey to do an equivalent amount of work. So we are looking for an approval of a contract in the amount of $6,520 to Stuckey Construction to make the repairs on the sidewalk.
Do I have a motion for approval, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Raff,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
trustee Trevino,
Aye.
trustee Clayton,
Aye.
trustee Eastman,
Aye.
trustee Jamerson.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next, last item of new business is approval of a proposal for removal and installation of insulation in the police department building in amount of $14,760.70 to SE Inc. Director Witt, please.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, the second item is related to the insulation above the ceiling in the police department at the first floor level. Earlier this year, I was invited by Chief Dano to come over to the building to take a look at the conditions that his staff were working under, and it was fairly appalling. In pulling ceiling tiles and looking up, you see some of the photographs that we have that I've collected here. There are areas where the bad insulation between the trusses has fallen through, has never been replaced. And at the time I went out, I think the temperatures were somewhere between 0 and 10 outside, and not quite that cold inside, but all this cold air was just pouring through the openings onto the suspended ceiling and through every crack. And it was extremely uncomfortable to be working within the entire building at that point. So we did investigate the full attic spaces, and we've come up with a plan of attack to do this. I really attribute the conditions that are here to the fact that unfortunately, this is another item where the building was not built to the original drawings that were prepared for that building. The insulation was supposed to have supports at a periodic spacing in order to hold the insulation in place. Those were never installed. Therefore, over time, the insulation has either fallen through the cracks, or people working up there have just pushed it through and never replaced it. So this plan of attack is to resecure it, do some blow-in insulation to fill all those cracks and make it a comfortable work environment for police staff.
Do I have a motion for approval, please?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I have a question.
Sure. Trustee Smith, please.
So Director Witt, so it's concerning that we had contractors we hired to do the work and then failed to do it according to specifications. That's concerning. Is there potential recourse?
I think, when was it, Bill?
From 7 years ago, perhaps, or 8 years ago?
Oh, it's more than that. That police station was built right when I joined the board. So
Has it been that long?
14
I
years,
think
right?
it was, I think it was 2011,
Yeah.
12,
Yeah.
something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're talking
14 years.
And
So, no.
honestly,
So no.
we were in charge of making sure that work was done properly.
So we have somebody who's going to do it correctly this time?
Oh, I have no doubt our inspection department will make sure it's done correctly this time.
Yeah, yeah. Not to
Okay,
worry.
I was just teasing.
There any other comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Trustee Clayton.
Aye.
Trustee Eastman.
Aye.
Trustee Jamerson.
Aye.
Trustee Raff.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. There is no old business this evening. By the way, the Girl Scouts wanted to know what comes under old business. What's old business? But there isn't any this evening. Next is board comments. Anything? Trustee Clayton, please.
I just want to make sure that this is not intended to be critical in any way and recognizing the burden that the staff is under and so on. When we started the committee, the whole process, we wanted to have kind of an agenda for the board to discuss among itself certain issues like the sustainability plan and the land use strategy and so on and so forth. And we've been through now a governance series of things, and now we're going to take up did it go on?
No, 8 straight and, you'll be great. Remember?
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to have another meeting where it's going to be taken up with a developer coming in and talking to us, apparently. So I would just like to ask that at some point or another, we really try to get back to some of the fundamental agenda that I think we started the committee, the whole process to begin with.
Yeah, your point is well taken. And perhaps the committee of the whole should be longer, because there are a lot of things that, we just want to freely discuss and not be under pressure to act, or, there's an assumption or expectation that we would be acting. So that's something that I would put forward to the board. And I know a number of years ago, the first meeting of the month was a committee of the whole, period. So that's something we might want to give thought to. And the second meeting of the month was, running through the laundry list of actions we needed to take. Might want to think about that, because we do, your point is well taken. There are lots of things that we want to talk about. And one thing that came up is the landscaping for Deerfield Road. How do we, when do we start talking about that? Well, we've got this developer with the fee and lieu and so forth that should be addressed, or is being requested of us to be addressed earlier. So timing is, do we have enough time? So I guess I'd appreciate your comments on that. Do we really fall back to one meeting a month?
I've said before that we never actually had only one meeting a month. We had a committee of the whole, but we always adjourned the second board meeting to the committee of the whole, the next first meeting of the month, to finish up any unfinished items so that we could take official action. But usually the board meeting would only last 10 or 20 minutes, and then we would be into the committee of the whole. But we were never completely divorced from being able to act at the first meeting of the month.
Oh. Okay.
But in other words, you could still have the majority of the first meeting of the month
be
set aside for the committee of the whole. It's just that way. We found out that if we only had the committee of the whole the first meeting of the month, we were hamstrung because we couldn't. Waiting a whole month to act was too hard. Something would come up. So we would always adjourn the board meeting to the first meeting of the month, meet quickly to see if there was anything that had to be acted on, and then go on to the committee of the whole. Does that make sense?
Sure. We get into form as well.
That's how we did it.
I think we've enjoyed setting up the tables to face each other, so that the discussion is a little freer and there's not a lot of whiplash going on.
It will be easier to do that with the wireless mics. Get it set up quickly.
Another point well taken. Well, let's try. We can try it. How do you feel about trying it for the first meeting, the December committee of the whole, or September? Don't want to rush it any more than I'm already rushing it. September 2nd, give it a go. Start with whatever you think we need to start with and adjourn it to whatever and start something else? Okay.
So
let's
what
give it a
time
go.
would that
Good.
start then?
6:30. Yeah,
Just have an opportunity to think about it and get back to you if that's okay.
would that be better? Okay, thank you. What you're suggesting is we probably don't need to start at 6:30 now. We could start at 7.
You could start at 7:30. You take the minimum amount of time you need to do the things you can't put off for another 2 weeks.
Okay, okay,
And then you adjourn and go into the committee of the whole.
okay, all right, okay. So we will amend we're not going into executive session, so let's just simply amend Board of Trustees Committee of the Whole meeting. We can say regular meeting, I'll rephrase it. Anyway, we'll start September 2nd at 7:30. And we'll start with a limited board meeting, adjourning to a committee of the whole. Correct?
And try that.
Okay.
Yep.
Don't worry, we'll send it out. Okay. And if there are any other ideas, just forward them on in. Are we all on the same page now?
Okay.
Okay. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night and thank you. Or what did he say?